Love DMX.
That's a 6. I try to use phones so everyone knows. Hot.
Plane just after taking off for Florida in perfect weather suddenly plummeted to the ground. Investigators now saying one of the engines apparently failed. Along with 8 passengers, Aaliyah, a young Brooklyn native and a talented singer.
You have the shit happens. Just make sure the plane you on is bigger than you carry your baggage. Just make sure the plane you on is bigger than you carry your baggage.
Aaliyah and DMX passed away far too soon. They had a unique bond that was deeper than most people knew. Some even speculate that it may have been more than friendship. However, one thing was evident. Unlike some other males in the industry, DMX never crossed the line and always had Aaliyah's back. According to recent rumors circulating the internet, Jay-Z was incredibly envious of DMX. Who could blame him, really? With 5 consecutive albums that peaked at #1 on the Billboard 200, X was destroying Def Jam. Jay, however, was caught between quitting the game and continuing to play. Then Aaliyah appeared, the one name that had the power to upend everything. According to numerous industry sources, Jay was completely enamored with Aaliyah. In actuality, though, she simply didn't feel that way about him. Rather, she developed a close, sincere relationship with DMX, genuine affection and respect. She later began dating Dame Dash, Jay's business partner. Things became chaotic at that point. No matter how composed he appears now behind his family man persona, Jay has always had a reputation for being insecure and a bit too domineering. He reportedly couldn't bear seeing someone else achieve his goals at the time, and Aaliyah was what he desired. Then the unimaginable occurred. When Aaliyah perished in that unexplained plane crash at the age of 22, tragedy struck hard. Fans are still not comfortable with the specifics. Too many warning signs, too many unresolved issues. Her supporters still feel that a new investigation into her death is warranted, even after all these years. Mary J. Blige's statement that Aaliyah's death was a spiritual murder should also not be forgotten. That still chills me. What was meant to be a plane accident is described in a really bizarre way. Now, as for DMX, he endured things that other musicians couldn't, fighting for years through the industry's turmoil. However, once he died in 2021 from what
I just know that was a murder. You know what I'm saying? That was a spiritual, whether people know it or not, because God don't kill people. You know what I'm saying? Whether
was believed to be an overdose, people began to discuss and question everything once more. Some even connected Liar Cohen, Jay-Z's influential mentor, to the ex's protracted struggle with addiction. Since then, the streets have continued to hum. Therefore, why sign a performer who would encourage that? Since I've already responded to that query. No, you weren't listening. Indeed, I have people to feed. I have a business to manage. With this clip, you're going to force Dame Dash to label you a culture. Was Jay-Z merely envious of DMX then? Or was something much more sinister happening? It wasn't simply envy according to some. Both X and Aaliyah may have met a horrible end as a result of this perverted game of power and control. Let's take a moment to analyze this. Aaliyah had strong relationships with a number of well-known hip-hop artists prior to her death, and those connections extended beyond music. She collaborates on the Romeo Must Die soundtrack alongside DMX. Additionally, there is a genuine, almost electric connection between them when you watch their interviews together. DMX never concealed the extent of his grief over her passing. In interviews, he talked candidly about how losing Aaliyah devastated him as a person he genuinely cared about, not simply as a colleague. He even gave his kid her name since he was so distraught. That is a profound memory that combines love and sadness. Different from the majority of those other industry men who appeared to be thinking about Aaliyah only. He constantly looked out for her. X didn't remain mute when musicians like Drake attempted to leverage her image to gain influence after her death. He refused to allow anyone to take advantage of her legacy, so he got up and called it out. Even now, that
I was always a fan of Aaliyah, so it was like a pleasure for me. I was like, you're damn right I want to be in it, but we worked in the movie together, and, we did the song, and she was like a beautiful person, man.
If you could get her back to say one last thing to her, what would you have said to her?
I have to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunities, and thank you for the music, and thank you for just being you. This is my own personal special tribute to Aaliyah. Here we go. There we go. All right. This is Aaliyah, and it's my newest baby, and I named her after Aaliyah, because That's how special she was to me.
That loyalty is still very painful. Just a quick question. Do you believe Drake should record Aaliyah's upcoming album without Missy Elliott Simone? It merely illustrates my points. A fragment of Mondro, similar to this woman, was someone you didn't even know. You were completely unaware. When you were in middle school, you, Aaliyah's mother, Diane H. Houghton, paid a heartfelt homage to DMX on her official Instagram after his untimely death in April 2021. Earl, you had and still have a golden heart, she wrote. With all the lovely people we've lost, you and the newborn girl will cross paths once more. We will always remember your generosity. May your family always be blessed. That was a powerful message. Every syllable is filled with agony and pure love. And this is something that is particularly noteworthy. One of the only well-known players in the game without any dubious or unsettling accusations associated with his identity was DMX. His life was crazy, really. Despite his faults, legal issues, and battles with demons, he always maintained his respect, especially in relation to women. However, it's a completely different matter when you turn to Jay-Z. The gossip concerning Foxy Brown, Aaliyah, Beyoncé, Kathy White, and his dubious connections to Diddy and R. Kelly. People don't comprehend how deep that rabbit hole is. Since everyone in the industry is aware that Jay-Z was making a lot of effort to win Aaliyah over, let's return to her. Between 1999 and 2000, they were seen together at a variety of events, and insiders continued to assert that Jay was completely enamored. The thought of her dating someone else, particularly one of his competitors, was too much for him to bear. The problem is that despite his best efforts, Aaliyah simply wasn't feeling him that way. The fact that Jay was supposedly already speaking with Beyoncé at the same moment just makes matters more complicated. But here's the thing, she was his backup plan. Aaliyah was the bigger star at the time. Everyone was drawn to her because of her unique magnetic spark. Jay's pride took a serious hit after Aaliyah rejected him and began dating Dame Dash instead. Struck. At that point, he changed course and focused all of his efforts on making Beyoncé the next queen of R&E. But there's more to it, says Jaguar Wright. According to her, Jay had several reasons for wanting Aaliyah out of the picture. Not just because Aaliyah obstructed Beyoncé's ascent, but also because his ego was damaged. To him, securing the crown meant eliminating the competition. And that's when the tone becomes really gloomy. I have no desire to escape from your friend if you were looking to escape your partner. It's malevolent, though, to do it the way he did. He was Mo, the girl who didn't want you, so perhaps it was the reason. Oh, and Jaguar really went above and beyond in a more recent interview. She outright asserted that Jay-Z was responsible for Aaliyah's untimely death through the usage of Hype Williams. That charge rocked the world. Jaws is left on the ground by such a claim. Now is the time to discuss Hype. Now is the moment for the public to question you about why you had to put Aaliyah on that clown car jet when she was unable to board Lenny Kravitz's plane. You were asked to say that by whom? And before you say anything, do yourself a favor. Please keep in mind that I was almost done with your apprentice, Little X. You don't realize how much I know about you. Yes, I am. The moment has come for us to cease avoiding the truth. It's time to fully escape Aaliyah Dana Harton's death. Jaguar continued after that. She revealed yet another shocking revelation. Fatima Robinson, Aaliyah's choreographer, is aware of the true cause of that unexplained plane tragedy. This is when it becomes even more bizarre. The very following day, Fatima and Hype Williams reportedly boarded a different jet to return to Miami. People are giving the entire case the side look just because of one aspect. To voice her opinions about what she overheard on the phone, Tima Robinson. Someone needs to come clean about who gave Aaliyah the medications that made her unconscious, prior to being taken on a plane that she didn't want to be on. It's time for the other dancers to speak up because they knew she was afraid to board the plane. And now is the moment to formally interrogate Hype Williams about why he pushed her to board that aircraft and why they had her do it while unconscious. When Aaliyah refused to board, she was allegedly pushed onto a dubious-looking aircraft that didn't even appear to be secure. They allegedly put her under sedation and continued to carry her while she was asleep. I still get chills from that point of the tale. Simply said, it's too suspicious to overlook. Was reportedly drugged and brought onto the aircraft, despite the fact that she was initially rather afraid to board. She had expressed her refusal to board the aircraft to everyone. Despite her refusal to board, they just carried her on board the aircraft after she fell asleep due to a severe headache. She reportedly informed them over and over again that she didn't feel comfortable. The rest is history after they gave her a sleeping drug and hauled her into the aircraft. and Dame Dash eventually disclosed something that left everyone in disbelief. As if the already dubious situation wasn't enough, Aaliyah was offered Lenny Kravitz's private jet, as he truly had family in the Bahamas. However, Dame claims that Hype Williams intervened, revoked that offer, and forced Aaliyah to take the smaller, dubious plane they had reserved for her. I had heard that Hype accepted the plane that Lenny Kravitz had offered her, so that action alone seemed way too suspicious. When I learned about that, that's what truly infuriated me about the state of affairs. Thus, you can inquire about that with Hype. I would like to know if you have ever discussed it with Hype. Yes. How did that discussion go? Inquire with her. However, I'm also asking you. Yes, but ask him. Thus, it's evident that Aaliyah's death had far too many odd and unexplained details. Perhaps it's a coincidence. Let's be honest, though. It's difficult to dismiss anything as random these days, given how sinister and perverse the industry can be. There is always more to it. Another secret lurking in the shadows. Now returning to DMX, his death also generated concerns. Many individuals think there was more to the story. According to some insiders, the dealer who provided him the items that evening may have been bought off to give him something laced or too potent. The concept is unavoidably disturbing, and Jay-Z comes next. When X appeared on LeBron James's show after his death, he pretended that their feud was unimportant and claimed that DMX was simply too competitive. Fans didn't like that serene vibe at all. Love was big, but it was a competitive thing. He treated me like a rival. I have never encountered a person who is more competitive than me. This is where things become serious, though. This went beyond DMX's competitiveness. It concerned Jay-Z's purported attempt to eradicate his rivals entirely. DMX was already a monster when Jay took over as Def Jam president. 5 consecutive #1 albums that dominate the charts. However, X claims that as soon as Jay assumed command, things quickly altered. Projects were abruptly delayed. No one answered the phones. Additionally, Year of the Dog, his 6th album, was often postponed. I didn't think that was a coincidence. It seemed premeditated. All right, I see what's excellent. You know, you're trying to get rid of the competition because you initially retire. Then remove me off the label, you know. You're rapping once more now. All right. It didn't end there either. DMX never trusted Liar Cohen, who served as a major mentor to Jay-Z. X consistently said that those business executives attempted to coerce artists into odd circumstances and that he would not participate in their dubious schemes. To be honest, Lior is a complete mess by himself. That man is the subject of so many dubious tales. He has also been discovered providing completely contradictory explanations for his own family history, which only serves to cast him in a negative light. Leo has been repeatedly criticized by Dame Dash for using a divide-and-conquer strategy to undermine Rockefeller's interior. Dames have even publicly referred to him as a culture vulture on multiple occasions, and you can see why after listening to Lior talk. For example, when he appeared on The Breakfast Club, he feigned heartbreak over DMX's battles with addiction. However, Lior didn't even try to conceal it when Charlemagne questioned why he continues to sign musicians who promote the same substance culture. He essentially acknowledged that he makes money off of the mayhem. Without uttering a single word, that confession revealed all. Our drug problem was really bad. I'm so depressed, DMX. He has 2 individuals inside of him. Among the nicest is Earl. It's the opiate problem, I believe. The largest issue I've ever seen is the syrup problem. These days, it seems like they're making it hip to drink syrup and lean, which is the riskiest. It is the most hazardous issue confronting our society. Therefore, why sign a performer who would that? Is it my talent or problems? Talent, I added. In reality, though, things grow worse. On April 25,